She may be an acclaimed journalist, talk show host, and author, but Tamron Hall is also the real deal and one of the nicest people in the business. You're executive producer, you are a host, an activist, a mom, an author. How do you find the time and enjoy the time to write something, as Watch Where They Hide?
Well, Watch Where They Hide is the follow-up to As the Wicked Watch. And, I'm at a point in my life where you find time for the things that you love. And I loved the idea of creating this character and bringing this protagonist that I was told by publishers didn't exist in the genre of true crime, of a female journalist solving crime written by a female journalist. So it was exciting to do something new and different.
A deliberate case of write what you know, or did it sort of fall onto the page like?
It was a deliberate case of write what I know. I did Deadline Crime for 6 seasons, but my start, a lot of people don't know, I started out in local news as a general assignment reporter, and 90% of those reports were crimes. And here I come from college, and suddenly I was in this world of reporting on some of the most frightening events that can happen.
What's the reaction you get from other young women of color who are wanting to write and be authors? And as you said, the first in this genre, the first in this character, a lot of firsts there.
Yeah,
what's the reaction?
What's so cool about the journey that I've been so fortunate to live is that, of course, there are young women of color who come to me and they see me as an inspiration, which is still so crazy to feel like they're like, you're a legend. I am, but
No, I'm not.
But what's so great about my journey is that I will get people from all walks of life, people who have nothing in common with me on the exterior, but I hope in common with me inside, which is that desire to always do new things, the desire to do the things that are in our heads and make them come true, our dreams. So I'm so lucky to have this journey. I tell people all the time, I live in New York City and I can be in Harlem and someone will say, go get them, sister. And then I'm in Beverly Hills and they're like, darling, what are you wearing? And I love you, Tamron. It doesn't matter the background of the individual. I think in what I create, people see that desire to bet on themselves. We know how I got the talk show. I lost what people thought was my dream job. I thought it was my dream job. And I think so much of what I create all harkens back to that. You're down, but you're not out. Sometimes you're not picked, but you can still find your win.
So let's talk about season 6, Tamron Hall.
Yes.
How does it make you feel to be at this point with this show?
I've reflected a lot lately on it, and there has to be a part of you that believes the dream can come true for you to start the process of making it come true. So obviously, I must have believed that it could happen. I'm still in awe, but I had to, some part of me believe that it could be. And here we are 6 seasons later.
How are you measuring your success now? And what does success look like for you?
At this point, I'm measuring my success by the number of people that I can bring to the party. I'm so proud of my staff. We have, a female director. For the first time in my career, the person who mics me is a woman, So we're putting people in roles that I hadn't seen in my career while also keeping people to the party. I never want someone to feel like, oh, well, she's bringing all these women in just because. I'm bringing them in because they're good. But I also have guys who say, listen, I've never produced a segment before. Come on in here. I tell my team, one day I'm going to be at the nursing home and I want to turn on the TV and I want to see your name scroll along. And at the end of the day, for me, if people know that I'm rooting for them, that is the measure of success for me.
So I also read that you've got this paparazzi photo of yourself leaving NBC Studios for the last time, where you're kicked down. How does that serve you better to that?
Yeah, I'm tearing up because when you mentioned the photo, I can picture it. I felt so alone. And it's a rare feeling for me because I live a life where I'm surrounded by, I ran track my whole life. My family's very close-knit. And in that moment, I felt so alone. And in this moment, it is a reminder that even on the darkest day that you can imagine, you are never alone. I felt like I was all by myself, in a fabulous coat, by the way, walking, but there were people rooting for me that I'd never even met. And as soon as I was able to activate the plan for the books, the talk show, they came out. I feel like the Avengers. You don't know that they're there, and then you click a button and they are. And so for me, it's a reminder that even on that saddest day of your life, you are not alone. There's someone that you maybe haven't even met yet who's rooting for you.
And is that perhaps the words of wisdom you give to people? Because we all end up down there on the floor. that's life. And we don't learn unless we do get kicked down, right? I don't learn anything from always being right. Yeah, exactly. But advice for someone who thinks, you know what, I'm going to stay down here. It's more comfortable down here in the misery mud.
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah, that's my message. My message is in that darkest moment, in that moment that you feel that it's easier just to lay there and play dead, so to speak, that there's life and there's light and there are allies and there are people who will root for you and be in your corner. And it sometimes takes time to find those people, and there's sometimes not even people you're born into the family with, but you'll find the light.
Tamron Hall, thank you so much for sitting down with me and for everything you do.
Thank you.